The Jerry Park. 2011. The fox stood his ground, looked at me, grew bored, and then walked off into someone's back garden. And I am drawn here to this place with a burn that flows under a viaduct, drawn to where an adolescent memory is spawned anew. It is for the water to tell the full tale of an old defeat. But standing here on this stone trough, its old purpose only the moss still know, I take to the jump again, and this time, being older and taller. I clear it. On the underbelly of a stone leviathan I read the ciphers of youth. Here, at the edge of things behind the tress away from the swings and roundabouts, the rules fray and the kindling of cautious rebellion is set alight again. And here, friends can drift downstream like sticks, even teenage lovers that faithfully promise the earth may be pulled apart in the currents of time. And above where the trains once whistled, the ground yields little of their final destination. As I turn, climb away from the spirits of youth, I am drawn to one more name. And it is mine. But I did not write. They were here too, my parents. They once stood together, marked out a moment in this landscape that conceived me. And I, feeling more, am compelled to ask of this place what dreams died to create me? But then, perhaps they, just like rivers, are caused to follow their desires and so are free in the only way that matters. And now the park pregnant with stories waiting to be born changes around me. The 1800s. It's monotonous work, but it pays well. And when it's sunny, the view is good, or so he thought as he picked up the water and drank. Hey, Jimmy. Yes, Jack. Look, there's a fox. Jimmy lay on his back, his hat over his face. Around them, men busy with their work, disturbed the birds with their hammering. The fox, drawn out by the heat, stuck out its tongue and then its head into the cool water. It's beautiful here, isn't it? Jimmy said. If you like cows and the smell of their shit, Jack said. And then the fox, fearing the sound of dogs in the distance, hurried away. 2011. A bomb went off here decades ago, and I, with boys I know but now never see, used to play in the blasted ground with sticks. We defended our positions, took no prisoners, and did our best to outfox each other. Or so I'd have you believe. In reality, we just jumped in to see the big hole, and soon found it held little power. After we climbed out. We liked the myths, though. Dead Jerry's haunted it. A kid got blown apart here and bits of him are scattered all over the place. He still walks the park at night trying to find pieces of himself. It was all blood and guts with a death at the end, but we knew little of death then, and even less of war. And although I did not know it at the time, I would come to know death well. 1945. With a view of fields, thin barbed wire and amiable guards, it wasn't much of a prison. Ralph and the rest of his men soon became accustomed to waiting the war out behind flimsy fences and gambling at cards for smokes, sometimes even having the odd game with the guards, a little corner of Barrhead forever Deutschland. Ralph, his English bad, gestured. The guard, understanding him, struck a match. He liked to talk, this guard. As they smoked, Ralph pretended he understood, nodded when he nodded, laughed when he laughed. Ralph, what are you going to do after we defeat Germany? Go back home, eh? Ralph nodded. The guard slapped him on the back. Have you got a girl waiting for you? Ralph laughed. The sound of a car horn broke in. Well, that's my girl. I better go. We're going dancing. C.E., Ralph. The guard left, Ralph remained. On Ralph's bunk lay Homer's Iliad. Outside the walls of Troy, Hector fought bravely, but Achilles was to have his vengeance, said the gods. As Ralph looked out, he saw a fox run across a rough field into the undergrowth. A few days later, Winston Churchill was on the wireless again. They cheered, even his men joined in because they could. The fox outside in the rain looked on. Ralph knew it was over. 2011. Pieces of me are hidden here underneath these wildflowers, stealing heat from the sun. A small band of Achilles' myrmidons, march ready, walk beside me briefly before advancing into the grass. My memory goes marching into the long grass of the past with them. In between all the visitors, you learn it's serious. But there is nothing to go to war for now. The death of someone you love does not launch 1,000 ships. And then the grief. You learn to feel the loss less immediately as you age, but it never leaves you completely. And as her voice faded and memories of her became fuzzy, you find as you look inward to the center of yourself a small boy is still crying. And then you realize you must have loved her deeply, and for that knowledge you weep for the boy, and for the love he lost. Here, with myths more truthful than facts, there is peace in a landscape without walls, where the days of grief still pull at me, a small town boy who looks at a fox and tries to understand.